Welcome to the F-Bound Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Schroeder, Executive Function Coach. I help neurodivergent women learn tips and strategies to improve the life skills that will help them be successful. Attention and decision making. We've been talking about attention this month, and today we're going to get into attention and decision making. Attention plays a pivotal role in our ability to make clear and informed choices, and neurodivergent people might face some unique obstacles. We're going to understand the link between attention and decision making and look at some strategies you can employ to enable you to make better, timelier decisions. The role of attention in decision making. Attention serves as a fundamental cognitive mechanism that directs our focus towards specific stimuli or information. We use our attention during the decision-making process to gather and process relevant information. By focusing on specific details, we're able to comprehend, analyze, and weigh the pros and cons of various options. Think of attention as a spotlight that illuminates the stage of decision-making. It filters out distractions, enabling us to focus on the pertinent aspects of the choices at hand. Without effective attentional control, our ability to process information becomes compromised, making it difficult to make clear and well-informed decisions. This is why neurodivergent people often get stuck in decision paralysis. They have a hard time filtering out unnecessary details. Gathering and evaluating information. The quality of our decisions depends heavily on the information we gather and evaluate. Attention acts as the gatekeeper that allows us to select and prioritize relevant information while disregarding irrelevant or peripheral details. Neurodivergent people may experience difficulties in filtering out extraneous stimuli and honing in on what truly matters. When attention is heightened and focused, the ability to gather pertinent information improves significantly. By consciously directing our attention to key factors such as relevant facts, critical details, and potential consequences, we optimize our decision-making process. This intentional allocation of attention ensures that we don't overlook crucial information that could impact the outcomes of our choices. Cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are inherent tendencies in human thinking that can sway our decision-making in irrational or illogical ways. Our attention plays a role in mitigating the influence of these biases. By training our attention to be vigilant and discerning, we can spot the cognitive biases that may be clouding our judgment. For example, confirmation bias, where we seek information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs, can be counteracted by consciously directing our attention to diverse perspectives and conflicting evidence. If you need to decide if marijuana is a good sleep aid for you, and you already use it and like it, confirmation bias will guide you to find the research that supports that it is indeed good for you. However, that's not the whole picture. You can direct your attention to look for research on the opposing argument so you have the best picture in order to make a decision. Likewise, anchoring bias, where we rely too heavily on an initial piece of information, can be mitigated by deliberately broadening our focus and considering a wider range of options. Often, our first exposure to an idea is the one we hold on to as the truth. In decision-making, we can use our attention to combat cognitive biases and ensure that our choices are guided by rationality and objective analysis. In this digital age where information is freely accessible, it's imperative that we are aware of these biases. We can't just take everything we see at face value. The only way to combat biases is to be cognizant of them and broaden our research before making a decision. Managing decision fatigue. Decision fatigue refers to the mental exhaustion that arises from making a series of decisions over time. It occurs when the cognitive resources required for decision-making become depleted, resulting in a decline in the quality of subsequent choices. Neurodivergent people are susceptible to decision fatigue due to the additional mental effort required to navigate daily tasks and responsibilities. The level of effort you have to put forth to concentrate on tasks can be exhausting. If you're a mom on top of everything else, you spend your days making decisions for a whole bunch of people, and that takes a toll on you as well. Decision fatigue can be caused by a variety of factors, including the sheer volume of decisions we face in a given day, the complexity of importance of the choices, and the emotional energy expended during the decision-making process. Strategies for managing decision fatigue. Prioritize and delegate. Recognize that not every decision requires the same level of mental effort. Focus your attention on the choices that truly matter and consider delegating or automating less important decisions to conserve your cognitive resources. Establish routines and systems. Create structured routines and decision-making frameworks to reduce the mental burden of repetitive choices. By establishing predetermined guidelines, you can minimize the cognitive load associated with decision making and preserve your attentional resources for more critical matters. Take breaks and recharge. Allow yourself regular breaks throughout the day to recharge your attentional resources. Engage in activities that relax and rejuvenate your mind, such as taking a walk, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in a hobby. These breaks help combat decision fatigue and improve your overall cognitive functioning. Simplify choices. When possible, simplify complex decisions by breaking them down into smaller, more manageable components. By reducing the cognitive load, you can alleviate decision fatigue and enhance your attentional focus on the essential aspects of the choice. Practice self-care. Taking care of your overall well-being is vital for preserving attentional resources. Prioritize sleep, engage in regular physical activity, and maintain a healthy diet. These practices optimize brain function, increase resilience against decision fatigue, and support clear-headed decision-making. Eliminate decision-making clutter. Reducing decision-making clutter is important so that you can streamline the decision-making process and focus your attention on what truly matters. Establish priorities. Determine your core values and priorities in different areas of your life. This clarity helps you identify which decisions align with your values, allowing you to allocate your attention and energy more effectively. Embrace simplicity. Look for ways to simplify your life and minimize the number of decisions you need to make. For example, consider implementing a capsule wardrobe, meal planning, or automating certain routine tasks. By reducing the number of choices, you create mental space for more critical decisions. Limit options. When faced with overwhelming choices, impose limits on the number of options you consider. Narrow down the alternatives to a manageable number, which allows you to focus your attention on a more refined set of possibilities. Techniques for simplifying complex decisions. Complex decisions can feel overwhelming, making it difficult to maintain attention and clarity. By breaking them down into smaller, more manageable parts, you can alleviate decision-making clutter and facilitate a more focused approach. Divide and conquer. Identify the various components or factors involved in the decision and address them one by one. By breaking the decision into smaller tasks or considerations, you prevent cognitive overload and enhance attentional focus. Pros and cons analysis. Create a pros and cons list to objectively evaluate different aspects of the decision. This technique helps organize information, identify trade-offs, and clarify priorities, making it easier to arrive at a well-informed choice. Seek expert advice. If a decision involves complex or specialized knowledge, consider consulting experts or seeking guidance from trusted sources. Accessing external expertise can simplify the decision-making process by providing you with valuable insights and reducing uncertainty. Utilizing decision-making frameworks. As you practice getting better at decision-making, you'll start to develop the processes you prefer. Until you know what works for you, you might want to experiment with different frameworks. Decision-making frameworks and models are tools that provide structure and guidance in the decision-making process. Familiarizing yourself with different frameworks can help you approach decisions with clarity and confidence. SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This framework helps you assess the internal strengths and weaknesses of a situation or option, as well as the external opportunities and threats. By systematically analyzing these factors, you can gain insights into the potential outcomes and make informed decisions. Cost-benefit analysis. This framework involves weighing the costs and benefits associated with different options. By quantifying and comparing the advantages and disadvantages of each choice, you can determine the option that offers the most favorable outcome. Decision trees. Decision trees are graphical representations of choices, potential outcomes, and their associated probabilities. This framework helps visualize the decision-making process, enabling you to evaluate the likely consequences of each choice and select the optimal path. Create a decision matrix. A decision matrix is a systematic tool that allows you to evaluate and compare different options against multiple criteria. By assigning weights to each criterion and assessing the options accordingly, you can objectively analyze the choices and arrive at a well-informed decision. Attention and decision-making are integral parts of executive functioning. By actively gathering and evaluating information, we can overcome cognitive biases and make informed choices. Learning to utilize a variety of decision-making strategies can make the process easier. By recognizing the significance of attention, you can effectively manage decision fatigue and optimize your cognitive processes. Getting a handle on your decision-making process can lead to more successful outcomes in all areas of your life. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the F-Bomb Podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe below and check out my show notes to learn more about my Facebook group, courses, and membership.